Oh dear.
That's the best sounding cardboard box I've ever heard. You guys ready?
Where's the power? Here, I'll hold the button.
You'll hold the button?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah.
The
It's
juice.
like a lightning storm in there.
Today's video is sponsored by Fishing Clash. What's up, everybody? Today on Cars and Cameras, we're back working on our turbo 670 V-twin drag rail saga. And man, is it turning into a 2 steps forward, 3 steps back situation.
Roller coaster.
We had it back on the dyno in the last episode, and it made just under 110 foot-pounds of torque to the tires. And about 70 horsepower at under 7,000 RPM. And we know we need this thing to rev out to 8,000. However, we discovered we're likely having a fuel distribution problem with our draw-through turbo carburetor fueling setup. So for all the commenters out there, we are still working on fuel injection for this thing, but we really want to optimize this carburetor turbo setup because it would be really cool to compare this when it's running most efficiently versus fuel injection. Well, what we think is happening is that all of the fuel is going to the front cylinder, not the rear. So we have a distribution problem. Charles says it's like a water slide effect.
Yeah. You know how like if you get too fast, you ride the wall like Men in Black red button style. You know, you get up there. Yeah, it's riding up and it's picking one side because somewhere about right here it splits off into these 2 different intake tunnels or runners. Sorry, and it's just picking one. I don't know why it's favoring it, but we're going to redesign that and start there.
Yep, and the reason we say that is because we can take this off, put our finger in here, and this intake runner is wet, this one is dry, and we keep fouling the front spark plug as well. So we're going to start things off by removing this, coming up with a new intake design, and then retrying. So to avoid building an entirely new turbo setup again, we're just going to try to rebuild the intake. So we're going to run a test. We're going to fire it up right now on gasoline the way it is now. Check the spark plugs. We should have the front plug much, much richer than the rear. We're going to rebuild our intake and then run the test again to see if our distribution problem is fixed.
Ready? Yep. Shot. All right, ready?
Yep. Go ahead and kill it. Let's check the plugs.
Yeah, I got sprayed with something. Alrighty. And look at that.
Yeah, there's our front plug, and that thing is rich.
Yes, very, very sooty. Yeah, look at that. So, I guess with the methanol, it was pretty much wet when you guys were pulling this one out.
Yeah, you could pour methanol out of... Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's not good.
It was bad. This one is
and
also rich, but not quite as rich. Yeah, look at that.
We would want both of them looking like that, basically.
Yeah.
So
go ahead and hold it up next to it. So, yeah, you can tell right there. I mean, I'm not no scientist, but this one is much more rich than that one. So our goal here is to rebuild our intake, and we want both of those spark plugs to burn the same when we're done.
All right.
You know, there's something I've been missing lately. You guys have seen it in videos on the channel before, like when we were out in the Rockies, and there isn't much of it in our pond here by the shop. Fishing. And I found a workaround for scratching that itch. Today's video is sponsored by Fishing Clash. Sponsorships are what help us here at Cars and Cameras keep making wild videos and living out our dreams, so please stick around till the end. Fishing Clash lets you have all the fun of fishing around the world right from your phone. There are tons of locations to explore, amazing fishing spots, and you can fish from shore or a boat. The graphics are some of the most realistic I've ever seen in a mobile game too. Once you start playing, here's my advice for you. As soon as you hook a fish, you immediately need to start reeling it in to hit your maximum combo bonus. You are also going to want to upgrade your lures for the best progression through the game. Let us know what you think about the game and the heaviest fish you catch in the thread under the pinned comment below. So download Fishing Clash with our link or QR code to get your fishing on. Use my gift code CarsandCameras to get an awesome $20 value reward for free. That's gift code CarsandCameras for a free $20 value reward. With my gift code, you'll get a unique avatar, 1 mythical lure card, 50 luck power-ups, and 30 weight power-ups to help you catch bigger fish. Thank you again to Fishing Clash. I'll see you guys out on the water. Now, back to the rail. Alright, so Charles did a great job building our new intake plenum. We might just not have enough volume for the fuel and air to mix properly, in which case we'll be moving the turbo, which is going to be a bit of a job. But we're going to give this a shot now. So Ike is checking the engine oil. Charles is throwing some fresh spark plugs in there so we can get a good reading. And we're about to throw some Sunoco 95 gasoline in here just to see if our distribution problem is fixed, if it's just as bad, or if we've improved it. I guess we're planning on running this thing a while.
That's actually, and that's how you flip the drag rail.
So basically what we're looking for is dropping a cylinder while we're running it. We're going to be running it for a few minutes. If our problem is fixed, we should have the spark plugs evenly colored, you know, after a few minutes of running it. So Charles is making a makeshift exhaust.
Don't mind me. I'll have a fire extinguisher.
Okay, good. So anyhow, we're fixing to crank this thing up and we're gonna run it, I don't know, for a few minutes, and then we'll check the plugs. I don't think we got fuel. Oh.
So unfortunately the engine stalled, and upon diagnosis it seems like we have a clog in the fuel line somewhere, because we have a fuel level right here. It's kind of an indicator that we have. It usually shows a little bit of, it shows like how high it is in the tank, and it's all the way down. So we're going to give it a little bit of air and see if we can get some bubbles in the tank.
I hope our fuel line
hasn't collapsed.
Yeah, because apparently some fuel lines don't like the methanol. Here we go.
Oh dear.
I think that fixed it. I don't want to put my face over it. Oh yeah, it's bubbling though.
Yeah, but it's under pressure. I think we got a collapsed line, guys.
Oh man.
I should be blowing freely.
You can't. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what you mean. I got it. I'm sorry. I wasn't following.
Yeah. I'm thinking that we have a bad line. I'm thinking a collapsed fuel line. It's going to be like an artery that is just kind of swelled up and clogged off. I've heard that methanol doesn't like certain types of rubber hoses, and I'm afraid.
I think it's the rubber hose that doesn't like the methanol.
Well, yeah.
And it's also completely ruining that pristine fuel tank too.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's a classic.
Yeah, but it's all rusty inside, and it was great 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So far, it looks okay.
Ready?
Oh, what? Oh. Go ahead.
I could barely blow through that. It was just barely bubbling. Look. This is our culprit right here.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this out. It's gonna be this.
You think so? Oh.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Try it now.
So that was a vacuum tee? Oh.
Oh dear.
Look at the end.
Okay, so that has melted due to the methanol.
What is that?
Ew.
It's the plastic tee.
Yeah.
So the plastic didn't react well to the ethanol.
Oh, it's all soft.
It's
in
all
there.
soft
Ew.
and stuff. So
I mean, yeah, because
we
you're
need
able.
a brass.
You're able to stretch that.
That's disgusting.
It's that's supposed to be a barbed fitting,
Yeah.
and it is completely turned to gel. Interesting. You know, hey, you learn stuff with methanol, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, you're able to. Look, you're able to just twist
It's
it.
turned into goo. All right, so we need to get a brass T to install right here.
And I'm going to look into methanol-friendly fuel line, too, because that rubber line could go bad anytime.
It could.
For those of you who are wondering, we are going to take proper care in lining this tank so we don't ruin it any worse than we have.
Charles just went and picked up our new brass fittings, so we're going to get these installed, fire this thing back up. Best sounding cardboard box I've ever heard.
Let's check them plugs.
Yeah, let's check the plugs, boys.
That's a little rich.
This is good and sooty,
But that's okay, as long as they're even.
Yeah.
Well, the front one was
even.
that sooty before.
Well, as long as the back one's this sooty, as long as they look exactly the same, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, because with the new plenum, hopefully we've evened out.
Yeah.
Evened out the fueling.
Distribution.
Oh, hey, it's a little grayer.
It's a tad bit grayer. It's still a little rich on the front.
So the front is on the left, the rear is on the right?
This is the front. This is the rear. And if you see, this one is darker than the other one. So we haven't fixed our distribution.
Yeah.
So looking at the spark plugs, we're having like the same issue, but it doesn't look as bad since we've added this little plenum here. We still think that it's picking a side.
It's definitely picking a side.
Yeah, it's definitely picking a side. So we've got an idea of cutting a window in this plenum and putting in a piece of plexiglass, and we're even going to install a light inside of the intake, and we're going to run this thing with the plexiglass window, and we're going to see what our fuel is doing.
So it's going to be Cars and Cameras science class on this episode.
We're going to build an on-engine flow bench.
I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited.
So basically, we are going to be switching to fuel injection, and we're going to have an injector on each port, but we really want to optimize the pull-through setup.
Yeah, and with the way the turbo's cocked, it could favor a cylinder, which the way it's aimed, you would think that it would pick the back cylinder, dump the most fuel.
It's doing the exact opposite.
It's doing the opposite.
And that's why it's important that we put a sight in there, because this is just a black box. We have no idea what's going on in there, because it's pointing that direction, but it's going this direction.
So Charles said something pretty ingenious. It's like what'd you call it again?
The water slide effect. Lack of a better term.
So think about going down a water slide, and you get to a turn, all that water and you shift to one side of the tube. Well, when you shift like that and it straightens out, you kind of go to the other side before straightening out. And I think that the fuel and air in that turbo is favoring one side, and it's actually shifting back and going to another area, aka the front cylinder.
Yep.
And
this is just helping diagnose our problem. We're definitely going to be adding more plenum volume is probably going to fix this issue.
This is science.
So we just pulled the, I guess our plenum off.
We got a wall.
What's going on?
In this tube, I mean, this could be something, this could be nothing. But this is the back cylinder here. And if you look in there, we have a wall.
Oh, look at that.
But we had this problem
before we had
that set up. But
also, I got a pinhole.
No, it's all right.
But that's okay.
We'll
later. I'll fix that later.
That wall's got to be taken out. Charles is working on the intake, and we are going to be punching a hole in it for a sight glass, which of course I got plastic film on this. This is pretty see-through. we're going to be putting in a sight glass so we can view inside the intake and see what our fuel is doing. So Charles is going to be punching a hole in that intake next, while I work on drilling some holes in this plexiglass very carefully so we can bolt it up.
While we have this off, I'm taking the time to do some final porting and polishing, I guess, or just porting, port matching, because we had some edges in there that we didn't have the bits for. Now that we do, we'll take care of this while it's off, you know.
Right.
And it'll just improve. It'll improve it all around. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'll make room for the sight glass, and it'll give me better access for porting this side as well. All right. Cool.
Here you go, sir. So we've created a window, we've drilled a bunch of holes in our manifold, or our plenum, and we've tapped those holes. So now we're going to use some RTV, and we have a light to stick in there too.
Oh, we need to put the light in first.
And we're going to be testing this thing out. You guys ready?
Where's the power? Here, I'll hold the button.
You'll hold the button?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
The
Looks
juice.
like a lightning storm in there.
Okay.
Frankenstein.
So we're going to see where our fuel is going.
Or
Yeah.
Coming from up there.
Frankenstein, depending on where you're from.
All right. Well,
Hey,
silicone might still be a little wet, but we're going to go for it.
let's go for it.
Cranking.
I can't see nothing.
Oh, look. It's going to the front. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Science.
I don't know if we learned anything. We can just visualize what we already thought we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like the fuel is coming in and it's like shooting towards the front for some reason. And I don't know why, because the engine's level. It seems like the fuel that's coming in is coming in like the center of the plenum, but it's shooting forward to the front cylinder. Why?
Yeah, and while it's idling, it's got a river coming out. It's like trickling fuel.
Yeah, but
it's misting it, but we also have too. It's like we have too much or something.
Oh well, the carburetor is a bit rich.
Oh, okay.
The carburetor is a bit rich.
But still, it shouldn't be picking. It shouldn't have favoritism, bank 1 to bank 2.
Right.
I don't.
Only thing I can think of is maybe there's enough.
It's like on the top
Centrifugal
side.
force in the turbo.
Something, and it's causing the air to decide, hey, this way.
Right, like the fuel is under.
Like the tornado effect or something.
Yeah.
So while we didn't completely solve the issue of our fuel distribution in the Dragster, our porthole into the intake plenum kind of helped paint the picture a little bit better. I'm sure this would benefit from just more plenum volume in general. It would help the fuel atomization. One of our working theories is that the turbo is so large that at low RPM, the impeller, the turbo, is not spinning fast enough, so that the fuel is just hitting that wall of the impeller and falling out of suspension, and it's creating that river that you're seeing that's going into the front of the that front cylinder. So one of our ideas is to crank our stall speed up to get maybe around 2,500 to 3,000 RPM to make sure that impeller is spinning at a good speed, so it'll keep our fuel atomized.
We're going to keep testing and tuning when we can with this setup, but we're in that time of the year where it's rainy and just tracks are shut down between Thanksgiving and New Year's right now. So we're going to keep tuning it and take it to the track when we can with this setup, but we have some huge game-changing plans for this dragster that we're going to be unveiling very, very soon. So be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, press the notification bell to stay tuned on that. Before we let you guys go, don't forget to support today's sponsor by downloading Fishing Clash at the link below. It's seriously one of my favorite pastimes, and I think you'll agree. Oh dear. Oh dear.
You scared me.
That was a good one.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, really?
Whew.